It's the water pressure that pushes the diaphragm down, okay? So there's some other things you can come back, and I think we'll just keep these out here until Tuesday. Some valves where you can see actually a diaphragm seat. You can see how this is kind of pitted, but it's this portion of the diaphragm. I've used to take these apart a lot if it's a two-piece diaphragm and flip the seat over upside down, get a smooth, because these can get pitted over time, get a smooth one, put it aside, put it back on, it'll last another however long, okay? The hole gets in the diaphragm, it's shot, you need to replace the diaphragm. But that's a basic, and any of those valves are gonna operate the same if you take them apart. It doesn't matter if it's that valve like that or a valve like this, okay? Pressure regulator, which actually just reduces pressure, doesn't increase. If we need to increase pressure, we need to put a booster pump on. This is a very big one, okay? This usually they have pressure ranges, and it'll tell you here, 25 to 75 psi range, okay? These here are presets. This is a 30 psi. These are both 30 psi's. These are typical for like on a drip system, where you put it together on a valve like this, and it's a constant, you can't adjust it. It's just one. So you can buy them in like 20 and 30 psi presets, and then you just assemble your system like that. We can have filters. Usually on drip systems you have a Y filter to filter out the particles. This backflow prevention device, actually these are two filters in here too. They have filter cartridges. I was telling the other guys that a lot of times I'll take this out and I'll put a hose bib in, because then you can open the hose bib and it'll blow everything out that's in the filter. You don't have to take it apart to clean it. You just open the hose bib and blow it out and flush it once in a while. Okay, you could theoretically do the same thing on these. This is typically, I think these are all on the I think these are, the flow is this way, so these are all not pressurized. They're not, these aren't built to be under pressure. It's just when water's flowing through them. This, on the other hand, is built to be under pressure at all times, okay? But filtration is pretty important in a lot of irrigation systems with the crappy water we're dealing with. Usually need some sort of filtration. Different valves. We have, gate valves and ball valves. You guys are fairly familiar with those. Gate valves, you're carrying them and it brings them down. A ball valve's a quarter turn, right? You've got PVC, you've got brass with stainless steel. There's a million reasons why to use one or the other. But the biggest thing is pay attention to the quality. And I'm not saying this to be whatever, but like the ones that are like made, the non-American made ones are typically horrible quality, and they'll blow apart, they'll split if you get a frost, or just spend the extra money and get high quality. You can tell if you hold them side by side, feel how the weight is on them, the thickness of the walls. It's really worth it. So the quality is probably more important than the exact type that you get. Quick couplers. Quick coupler valve. This is always pressurized. If you look down, spider web in there. It's probably easier to see on the top, but there's actually a diaphragm, a spring-loaded diaphragm in here, and the spring is pushing it up. Okay, unlike those valves where it's water pressure, this is a spring. This is a quick coupler key. Right? There's different sizes. There's a nipple coming out of the side there. There's a corkscrew track on the inside of this valve. All right, these are made to go in valve boxes, hidden underground, out of sight, out of mind. Get your key out, turn it. Okay, I should show you that. So watch the key go down. Okay, see the key go down, it's corkscrewing down, it's pushing on that diaphragm, opening the valve up, and water will now come out of here. That's why it's good to have a shut off up here. A lot of quick coupler irrigation systems on golf courses. If you've gone to San Bernardino golf course with me, you've seen their system. They just plug your heads in, boom, and that sprinkler's on. Go to the next one, boom. They don't have time to screw around with valves. So there's some fairly old school irrigation systems that the heads are actually each mounted to a quick coupler key. All right, it's a pretty damn expensive setup. All right, because these quick coupler keys aren't cheap. I don't know. I think the last time I bought one, they're probably 30, 40 bucks just for the key. That's all we're at. Depending on the size, okay? This is, I think, 3/4 inch. There's some 1/2 inch and 1 inch. This is a flow meter. All right. A lot of newer systems have electric flow meters where you can actually get a lot of information about what your water use, conveys it back to the controller, and you can make some water management decisions based on your flow meter that you have. I mean, it's a water meter, all right? We call them flow meters when we dedicate them just to irrigation systems. And a lot of times every controller might have its own flow meter, but certainly within a group of valves now, most of them have flow meters so you can manage, see where your water's being used. And it'll send out alarms like if a valve doesn't shut off and it's like you have a certain parameter programmed into that and it's like, man, this is 100% over, or whatever error you programmed in it, it sends an alarm out. It might shut the master valve down. So the whole system shuts off after you go through an irrigation cycle so you don't like erode a slope or something else. All right, so it's very good information out of those. Talked about filters, talked about regulators, solenoid, different solenoids. You have the post solenoid like this that I showed you on the one valve, and then you have solenoids like this that are captured solenoids that screw into another valve. They do the same thing.
What is a solenoid?
So solenoid is the part on the valve that has a plunger in it. You can't see it in here because this is all enclosed. So like I showed you when I unscrewed that other one over there, the plunger pulls up and it uncovers the hole in the top of the bonnet, which I didn't give you that term. The bonnet is the top of the valve.
Solenoid would be right here.
Yeah, so this would
pull
slide
up that
over
magnetic
this.
piece.
This is a magnetic field.
Yeah.
All right, so it creates a magnet, pulls that plunger up.
Okay.
The plunger uncovers the hole. The water bleeds off that upper chamber and allows the valve to open.
Okay, cool.
Okay? You do have DC solenoids too. If you operate on a battery system like this clock, that would be a DC solenoid, and the difference is an AC solenoid has constant power running to it, creating a magnetic field. The DC solenoid with a battery shoots one shot of electricity, it reverses the polarity in the solenoid, the piston pops up. When it's time for it to shut off, it sends another shot, reverses the polarity again, the piston drops down.
It's kind of like a two-wire system.
It's kind of like
right?
a two-wire system, yeah. So, anyway, that's solenoid action, and that's a battery operated.